Coming over, making trouble.
Hey there, I'm Nails Mahoney, communications coach. We're going to take a look at Christopher Walken. Wow! Everybody thinks they can do a Christopher Walken impression, right? Yeah, I'm no different. We're taking a scene from Pool Hall Junkies. This is the Lion speech. And this is quintessential Christopher Walken. Let's get stuck in, shall we?
You watch those nature documentaries on the cable?
Yeah.
You see the one about lions?
Yeah.
Get this lion. He's the king of the jungle. Huge mane out there. He's laying down under a tree in the middle of Africa. He's so big. He's so hot. He doesn't want to move.
See what he's doing already. First of all, he makes an entrance without saying anything. It's just his footsteps. We always say to people, make an entrance. If you're going to walk on stage or in front of anybody, make an entrance, let them know you're there. And he does this in a really understated way. But then he gets to work. I mean, number one, the stare. He's staring at the guy. You're listening to me. You're listening to me. But every single word that Christopher Walken uses carries something with it. When he says lion, hot. See, when he says hot, he looks up. He's very visual. He looks up. It's hot. Looking up at the sun. And when he says the word lion, he growls, lion. It's like, argh. This guy is incredible. I just can't wait to see the next clip. Let's get to it.
Now, the little lion cubs, they start messing with him. Biting his tail, biting his ears. He doesn't do anything. The lioness, she starts messing with him. Coming over, making trouble. Still, nothing. Now, the other animals, they notice this. And they start to move in. The jackals. Hyenas.
Why, you can't take your eyes off him when he's doing this, can you? The jackals, the hyenas. Every word has got power behind it. See the way he says, hey, come on, they're messing around. They're messing around. It's like, what are you doing? You're wasting time here, messing around. His arms, his hands are displaying the movement as well as everything else. But it's all here. Because the body isn't moving very much, right? The body's not jumping. He's just standing straight. It's all in the face. It's all in the nuance, as they'd say with Christopher Walken. I can't do it. I'm just showing it. That's the way his upward tone goes. I love the way he says jackals. Jackals. This guy's incredible.
Barking at him, laughing at him. They nip his toes and eat the food that's in his domain. They do this, and they get closer and closer and bolder, till one day, that lion gets up and tears the shit out of everybody, runs like the wind, eats everything in his path. Because every once in a while, the lion has to show the jackals who he is.
Great thing about this, going back to the first scene, was that he started it off with a question. He asked the other guy a question to lead him in. And the other goes, yeah. Looks up at him, because we're automatically fine-tuned to hardwired to answer questions. But then he goes into his story. When you ask the question, you involve the other person first, right? It's like, how are you? I'm fine, let's go. We're in. How was your work today? Fine, we're in, let's go. Have you ever seen, have you ever heard, have you ever noticed? Boom, the other person is in. He starts off with this question. And then it's real quiet, right? Very quiet. But there's a menace to that quiet, isn't there? It's very quiet. It's like there's a volcano about to erupt under here. It's like, you're waiting for that thing to go. Hasn't quite happened yet, but you can feel it coming. And that's all in his body language and his vocal tone. Again, he stretches out his vowels. The jackals, mane, the sun. He stretches out vocal cords quite a lot. And I like that. I love when people stretch out the vowels, make them a little longer, because it just gives that extra bit of emotion to what you're about to say or what you're saying. The eye contact never wavers, unless he wants it to on purpose, unless he needs to look down or look around. Never wavers. When he's talking about the other lions, it goes. That's about the only movement he gives, is to show that it's a bit random, that's a bit cluttered. Kind of, they're walking around, they're messing around. He doesn't like that in his face. I don't like that. I don't like that. Let's wrap it up. Last scene.
It's too late to be scared. It's time to kill. I'm going to the other room. You come out when you're ready. Don't beat him. Kick his ass.
Now, we did this with the Jim Morrison video that we did recently about speaking quietly. And sometimes when you speak quietly, the other person has to listen more forcibly, right? Because they've got to tune in a bit more. If you're yelling and shouting, they go, oh yeah, I got you. But when you talk quietly, and all of a sudden, it takes more concentration to listen to what I'm saying. We saw how he was smouldering inside and using his quiet voice, and every now and then he would upswing to bring a bit of special emphasis to a word. What I love about Christopher Walken is you don't know where the upswing is going to come or where the emphasis is going to come, right? He can say, I think I'll put the kettle on and makes a cup of tea for later because I'm thirsty. You know, that's like, well, the emphasis comes from all over the place. And that again is keeping people on their toes. He's known for this, and he does this in everything. Have you seen Severance? Have you watched that show Severance? He's in that. There's a lot of this in it, but not as concentrated Walken, as I'll put this, a bit diluted Walken maybe in Severance. But he brings a lot of this into pretty much every role he ever does. And at the end then, of course, the voice raises, because now I mean business. This is the message I wanted to give you. Go in there and you show them what you got. Like the lion. Every now and then the lion has to remind them who he is and what he does. And that was his message to this guy. But it's such a nice lead up to it, isn't it? And what an actor. I know it's a scene from a movie. What an actor. 3 things we can take from Christopher Walken. Well, geez, I mean, you could take 103. Where do you start? I haven't even scratched the surface on this one. By the way, if you noticed anything, comment below if there's anything about this that you liked more than I noticed. Like I say, there are 100 things I could have talked about here. Number 1 is make an entrance. Let them know you're there. He walks in, nice and calmly, nice and quietly, make an entrance. Number 2 is eye contact. Another guy who's amazing at eye contact, just locked in on you. You're going to listen to what I'm saying. And tone of voice. Yeah, he's quiet here, but listen to certain words that he uses. When he says lion, he's growling. Lion. He's growling, right? Other words he'll say like jackals. He shows you what it is and what he thinks about them. You could say, there are a lot of jackals around, but he goes, jackals. Like, oh, I hate jackals. So he's got all that going on. So there's 3 things that we can take out of hundreds from Christopher Walken. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Niles Mahoney, Communications Coach. I really appreciate you being here. If you want to hit subscribe, that would be unbelievable. I would so appreciate that. And I will catch you for the next video. Cheers for now.